Guys, so I'm super excited to introduce Marriage in Transition, the series slash podcast, whatever it will actually turn out to be. But when I recorded the initial video for today's vlog, I did it a few days back and I didn't have a title. I just knew that it was about navigating marriage. And then just last night, the name came to me, Marriage in Transition. And I just want to explain what that means before we go into the video. So I really try to find like something that could really speak to navigating the transitions within marriage. So not navigating into marriage. So that's your, premarital counseling, your engagement phase, your relationship phase. But dealing with how to actually navigate the transitions within marriage, because there's so many adjustments. We adapt, we grow, but it's so progressive because we're constantly learning and changing, and we're constantly evolving in terms of the way we view things, in terms of the way our outlook towards the different factors and aspects within marriage, right? Whether it be family, whether it be finances, whether it be communication, whether it be intimacy, whether it be things that are out of your control, like the loss of a job, illness, and I do speak about that a little bit, about how, in my own personal marriage, we had to early in our relationship deal with in sickness and in health. And so those are transitions, navigating those. And so marriage in transition is more on how, you move into different phases within your marriage, but the wheel is still going. Like, the marriage car is still moving, and you have to fix things. You have to adjust. You have to understand and have self-awareness of yourself and understand your partner while you're going. You can't just pause and go, okay, cool. Whew, I'm not a person who's selfless and I'm trying to learn how not to be selfish. Can I just, we need a break and then let me figure me out and continue. All of that you're learning, you're evolving, you're transforming as the relationship is evolving, and that can be quite difficult. And so I'll have different people on the channel or on the podcast specifically, who will share their different the different times they've been in transition within marriage, and what they've learned and the lessons they've learned, and the certain assumptions that we have about marriage, the first year of marriage, the first 5 years, when you enter a specific a transition within marriage, and how to navigate that. So like some people who will be on the channel will speak on things like the mental and emotional transition into marriage, or we'll look at transitioning into blended families, where maybe your partner or your spouse had children before, or navigating miscarriage, navigating the transition to parenthood, or that financial stability, or buying property, whatever the case may be. But it will be different aspects. And so I'm really excited. But yeah, just wanted to make that disclaimer, and now we can get into today's video. Hello, Sawubona, and I hope you guys are doing well. If you are returning, Lalela, listen, shout out to you. And if you're new on the channel, welcome. Thank you for actually hopping on. Do the right thing. Come on, just subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Just like, comment, let us engage. But as you can see from the title, today we'll be speaking about navigating marriage. And I want to say navigating the first year of marriage, actually, because listen, I can't speak about marriage in total. I'm still entering, navigating, just got through the gates, okay? It being my second year of marriage. I remember I made a vlog, I think last year. I think I was actually wearing this white shirt. So there's something about this white shirt where I said the reasons why I don't speak about relationships or marriage on my vlogs. But the reason for that, actually, to sum it up, was that I don't like speaking about things that I haven't really fully gone through, to have the necessary perspective, understanding, and have learned the lessons that I need to learn. And so, yeah, that's why. Even though I remember once did a dear brother, dear sister thread on Facebook. And yeah, I had gone through, and relationship-wise, shift, guys, it was going. We went through it all. So I could give those different perspectives. But, I actually want to have different people come onto the channel and actually speak about their relationship, speak about their marriage, their first year of marriage, whether it's been a few months, whether it's been a whole year, whether it's been 5 years, just to speak about marriage, the beginning of marriage, and really those building blocks. And they're all going to look different. That's the thing. They're going to be different in texture, different in color, different in purpose. And the reason why it's important to have different people is that marriage is not a one size fits all. That I can definitely tell you. And we all experience different things in marriage that others won't experience. We mustn't think that when I give you advice, I'm giving it to you as a blanket statement because you're going to go through it, and when everyone goes through this is how you must handle it. You will handle it differently because you come from a different background, a different culture. You yourself have a different temperament, and also you're married to a different person. You could be from the same background, same family, but your partner's different, you're completely different. And so it's important to navigate things from that personal perspective. And so even when you think of the work that's put in, because a lot of, the assumptions that people make is that first year of marriage is hard. And it's only hard because communication is hard. And communication is only hard because you're trying to navigate this ship while it's moving, holding the manual, but you also must now work at it, imuva. You don't have time, it's stationary, you're fixing the car, you're fixing it while it's moving. You don't have time to be like, okay, let's stop, take a break, and then, yeah, let's continue. No, listen, life is still going, hey? Finances are still needing to be done. Listen, expectations are still there, rife, high. So it's very important that even as you watch podcasts, you listen to podcasts, you watch vlogs on marriage, that you literally take it, and I want to say with a pinch of salt, only because unless you're actually in marriage and you're watching it for the basis of actually maybe getting a different perspective or wanting to grow your understanding or understand your partner better as you listen to someone else's perspective. As a single, take it literally in the sense of you're gaining understanding and maybe can help you to think a bit differently, but never feel like Remo Witze, and so yeah, this is marriage. Or like now, as women, what we like to do is send the link of the video speaking about marriage or a certain aspect within marriage to our partner when we are going through that thing, like, babe, please listen, hoping that it will actually speak to them. No, communication is you speaking to your partner about something. And so I think it only works to the extent of you putting in the work. That's the work of marriage. And for some people, it's easy, it's fun. Your first year is amazing. And for others, it's difficult because it was long distance in the beginning, which is very unusual in a marriage. And I usually feel like we're probably long distance relationship and now we're getting married and we're together. And the dynamics are going to completely be different. Others, listen, from night one of honeymoon, listen, it's conception. And now you're trying to still build this relationship with this person and enjoy this person. And a child is coming. And you must prepare for this child in the next 8 months. You know, maybe it wasn't even part of the plans. So there's a lot of things to actually speak about, you know, that I think one thing my husband and I did was speak about those things while we were actually engaged. We actually had a list and we wrote down different topics and we spoke about it. We spoke about finances. What's your relationship with money? How did your family raise you? Like, you know, what kind of things do you spend your money most on? You know, do you want to have a joint account? You don't have to. Listen, I know it's a thing and it seems so romantic and beautiful. You don't have to have a joint account. If you guys can manage your finances separately, then I think that's perfectly fine. We had separate accounts until recently, actually only recently, when we were wanting to buy things for the house, and we realized, you know what, let's just have a central place to have this just for now. And as we were getting married, we're like, we put it there for people who wanted to contribute so that we can actually pay off certain things. Then we decided to have that so that it's not like, oh, mama and malume and what, it's just everyone can send. Then we know that it was for, you know, marriage funding and finances, but it's not necessary. We spoke about background. I think cultural background, family background is so important, especially because now my partner come from different backgrounds. So you need to kind of speak about those different aspects. And so for us, it was quite a lot of work. I don't want to lie. The first year of marriage required a lot of us. It required a lot of us emotionally, mentally, physically, because listen, we came into this thing wet behind our ears. My husband actually said that. He said, we're quite wet behind the ears. And I was like, yo, you're so old. So it's like such a old English saying. In the sense that we were still new in this, and yet we experienced something that people only experience, or most couples, most married people experience years later, where we literally went through in sickness and in health. We went through me being diagnosed when we were engaged. In fact, he proposed after my diagnosis, which I thought, wow, young man, you're showing me how committed you are, because that for me spoke volumes, that you actually really believed that I can make it through this, even though it's such a deadly thing, being diagnosed with breast cancer. And that we will be together. I really loved it. And so I actually asked him to be on today's vlog, and he was like, no. I didn't even know what it was about. He was just like, yeah, I'll pass, which is okay. But yeah, I think realizing that, you know, in sickness and in health, yes, it was something you just said maybe as a vow, but it becomes reality. Realizing that those vows become a reality. And when they do, are you seriously able to do that, you know? And so like, we navigated that, which is very difficult. It impacts obviously finances, it impacts quality time together, because if I'm not really always well, then we can't do the things we used to do, kumjala, you know, going out for dates, going to the movies, because listen, my immune is weak, I need to be home, I'm not feeling well, I'm just not in the mood. And now, you know, my spouse can't go out because he must take care of me, he must be home to look after me or be there for me and spend time with me, but he also wants to enjoy the Kirsten Bosch concert, he wants to go out to the movies, he wants to be able to do things. And so it was difficult. I don't want to lie to you, it was quite difficult. And we had to navigate that. We had to navigate communication in those times. We had to navigate the conflict resolutions, because now, man, it's just a lot, man. And you know, and the reason why he says most people deal with this later in their marriage, when they've created a foundation, is that You experience these things when someone's in their 40s, or when someone is like in their 60s and there's now health issues, but body arthritis, body ing, you know what I mean? And so we're experiencing this the first year of our marriage. Listen, it is tough. You know, we don't have that foundation of like 10 years of marriage and listen, we got this. We understand each other. We understand when you're grumpy like this and when this. We understand how to navigate family and finances and other expectations. So it requires intentionality. And the beauty of actually having other people who are married around you to listen to other stories is you get to see how the individuality is like woven into everyone's story and their own like marriage, and how they make it work. Because really, the wood is there. The love is literally the wood, but the love is not the fire. It is not the fire. Because if it was the fire only, it would burn everything and it wouldn't be sustainable. But it being the wood is the very thing that, when set alight with communication, intentionality, it can really warm up the relationship and it can really serve the purpose that it needs to serve. And so, yeah, marriage is fun. Marriage is really cool. Another thing is like, also, don't be afraid to speak to your family. For some time, I thought like, okay, I need to navigate things in my household and just like figure things out. And then I realized, wow, actually, I mean, yeah, let me speak to my mom. Let me speak to, my mom-in-law. Let me actually just, be wise about it though. Be wise about it as well. So yeah, anyway, guys, marriage, there's a whole different aspects. And so from next week, I'm going to have the first couple on. Some of the people will be people, some people won't be. But the beauty of it is now we can actually like speak to people even through Zoom and through other means. So it's really amazing that we can connect with different people. And so please do share your assumptions of marriage. I asked on Instagram, I got a few responses, but it would be really amazing to hear your assumptions of marriage, or what your expectations were of marriage and how different they are now that you're married for like maybe a year or even more, or even being engaged. What are you looking forward to within marriage? And stay tuned, and we'll see each other next week.